Welcome back. Now, we've all been there. We've thought we found the perfect person, then wallop. It all goes wrong. Aidan's laughing over the corner. That's what happened to Amy on Love Island this week.
Not Aidan.
When Curtis revealed his true colours.
He's giving me very naughty signals now, do you know that? Before we speak to psychologist Allison Keating about heartbreak and how we can begin to heal, let's take a look at how things played out in the villa last week.
Wait till you see this.
You deserve the best.
I never thought he'd do that to me.
I never dreamed that I'd meet somebody like you.
That's not the Curtis I know. That's not
And how
the
scary is
person that
that?
I fall in love with. I thought I'd met my first love and the one, and it turns out I haven't. I'm someone's backup plan yet again.
No, I don't wanna fall in love.
He was my future. And now I have nothing. And he's taken that away from me. And I finally let my guard down. And I finally fallen in love with someone.
Oh.
Holy moly. She
What
met
did
him
you
on what,
just say?
Monday? I never thought he'd do that to me. I've known him 3 days.
3 days.
But she's devastated.
But listen, everything is
Devil.
heightened because of the situation that they're in and the cameras and the non-stop analysing.
Yeah, but that girl is clearly upset. Alison, what do you do to help the poor girl?
I don't know what we can do for
We're
her.
hooking this item on Love Island because obviously we can, you know, laugh about it.
We've
but
all been there.
It has, well, we've all been there, and also the whole Love Island and the stories that have played out have captured everyone's imagination. You know, everyone's been talking about it this week. So I suppose, you know, on a more serious note, there are people tuned in this morning who are suffering heartbreak, and it's an awful time, isn't it?
Horrific. It's absolutely horrific. And, you know, it's interesting. We can get through so many difficult things in life and we can feel like strong and competent and capable. And then you get broken up with and all those skills you have can just go out the window, and people can't believe that they literally feel like their heart is broken. It's such a psychological injury, you know, and people are kind of, they expect themselves to be able to get over it. Now, not taking that case in point, but in a normal situation where you have been together, you're in a relationship, and I think that's one of the things is that people are blindsided. The person who's going to break up with you knows they're going to do that, so they've psychologically left the relationship a long time ago.
Yes.
And people often say, my God, but we got on great last week, I don't understand. So they're equally so shocked. But then when it happens, you just, it's like your heart and your brain explode and you can't believe it. And they, you know, brain studies have shown, and this is unbelievable, that its breakup is the same, it activates the same area in your brain as withdrawal from opiates or cocaine.
Okay.
And, you know, we talk about people being addicted to Love Island, but I think there's something, there obviously is resonating something with people, but we all know that feeling of rejection and the pain of heartbreak. And it is similar to grief, except they're alive. And I think nowadays with social media, it's, I mean, from what I see from on the couch, social media and heartbreak, God, they're such an awful pairing. They really are. So I suppose that would be my first tip.
On the road to recovery, your first tip would be...
Oh my God.
Don't be checking their social media.
Yeah,
Would
even-
that be tip number one?
100%.
Yeah.
And everybody is going to be like, of course, I won't.
Easier said than done, though, Alison,
Doing it
isn't
is completely different. I think you need to actually just, you know, unfollow or unlike or something, because otherwise you are going to look. And it's that kind of craving for the person. And that's why it's like this withdrawal. And it's like we go down and we start thinking about how wonderful they were. So I would actually say to people, you need to make a list of all the things they did that drove you absolutely crazy. Because all of a sudden it's rose-tinted glasses, but we were the perfect couple. We were so in love, but you weren't.
But is that
Something was wrong.
Is that not a little final? Because, of course, you can split up with somebody and then get back with them. They might be your true love. Do you know what I mean?
Sure. I suppose, from my perspective, when someone's coming to see me, it is absolutely over.
Yeah.
Right.
And I suppose
enough,
in terms of actually recovering, that's the most dangerous part, is I think hope in heartbreak is the
Maybe I'm
worst
just a romantic.
thing.
That's what it is.
But that hope, it's gonna break your heart.
But I recently said to friends, delete the number. You need to delete the number. And the answer quite often will be, I can't because I need to talk, or we need to talk
Yes.
about X, Y, or Z.
Yeah.
As in the house, or the commitments
Sure,
that we have
that's
shared.
different. That's different. If you have to continue and you're going to co-parent, that's completely different. If,
of course it is.
when I say a clean break and that you don't have to, our lives don't have to intermingle, that definitely is easier. But if there are children involved in houses and everything, it absolutely is
Yeah.
messier, and you can't just cut
But
them
can
out.
it be, if there's no children involved, can it be an excuse to keep the lines of communication open? Do you know, if someone's clinging on and they're
Yeah.
hoping?
That's hope again, isn't it?
See, this is the problem. I mean, when we look at this reasonably, the heart just reacts completely differently. And that's why you need to do that brutal list, and it is an awful list,
Yeah.
and I would say to people, like, actually put it on your phone, and as soon as you start going into all those wonderful memories
at
of
it.
he was this, she was that, and then you have to go, yeah, okay, you went out to dinner that night, but then you had a huge fight, and you didn't talk for 2 days. You've got to finish the story out, because that hope, what I'm talking about in terms of actually healing breakup or heartbreak, you have to put a line in it and accept the situation that it is actually over.
And one of the things in terms of drawing a line, you say that you should accept their reasons for the split,
Yes.
however hard they may be.
Oh my God,
have to respect it.
You're never going to get a satisfying response to actually being rejected. Nothing's ever going to cut the bacon, really. So you have to accept, within reason, like if they're lying to you, it's really difficult, but accepting the situation as it is will cut down the pain that you're going to actually feel. And that's impossible, because your brain is going to go into all these conspiracy theories and this happened, or maybe, God, that one in the office, something was going on. So you have to pull yourself back and see it as you're literally withdrawing. And the memories are like your methadone. They're like kind of when you idealise the partner, you've got to bring some rationale in, and that has to be written down.
And then you say, in terms of writing down and list all the compromises that you made in the relationship. Why would you do that?
It's a good thing when you're finishing a relationship to pull out things that you wouldn't like to repeat in a future relationship. It's very easy just to blame the other person, say it was all their fault and everything. But you have to stand back and say, do you know what? I actually didn't like the way they spoke to that person. It actually made me very uncomfortable, or I found them quite controlling, or I didn't like all your boundaries in terms of how they treated you, how they treated other people, and you've got to step back and go, do you know, that's not okay. I'm actually not going to put up with that anymore. I'm going to be more clear about what's okay and what's not okay, so that it doesn't get to that point of breakup, but you're still intact with your self-esteem. Because when you break up, it's not just breaking up between the couple, it's the friends, it's the network. It's the network, it's everything. So you have an identity
it's amazing,
crisis.
Though, how you see it, even on that poor young one's face, like, it's physical pain.
Oh, yeah.
Like, and to quote her, I have nothing now. I finally opened up and thought to love somebody. I have nothing. Like, she's destroyed. And it's manifesting itself physically. She's just distraught.
It's really interesting in terms of, say, timelines. With grief, often people find the first year very difficult, but I would put the same timeline on a relationship. Say someone who's in a relationship, like, a normal amount of time. It's going to be a year before you actually begin to feel normal again. So for people around you, have compassion for that person and have more patience than you think you think they should be over it yet, but they won't. It takes time, but that's why you have to put these really tough things in, like the lists of my list of what I don't like about you.
Yes.
And have it on your
to
phone.
fall back on.
Yeah.
And remember your friends, of course, because they're so important.
Your friends, you have to pull all the support in, but also kind of look at yourself and say, do you know what? I need to do some work on myself now. I've got to recover and heal from this and start there.
Or just ring Allison.
Just do like I do. Open a bottle of red wine, stick on Adele and get a jar of ice cream. Be grand.
A jar of ice cream.
A tub. A Bridget Jones.
None of that was in your notes, Allison, but I'm sure.
Unfortunately, it does. That doesn't work.
Thank you, Alison.
Thank you as always, Alison.